Hey, what's up everybody? It's Sunday, it's Reed, and this week we are talking about the word queer. So when I was thinking about this topic, it was interesting for me because I identify as queer as like my sexual orientation identity, and it was also a part of my identity for a while when I was coming out as trans. I identified as genderqueer. So it's been sort of a big part of my life for a while, but I haven't really thought about what that meant to me and where the word came from and things like that. So I'm going to talk first about like the word itself, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about what it means to me and my identity now. I'm pretty aware that the word queer was a slur and is still used as a slur, and it had a lot of power over the LGBT community at one point in time, and it still impacts a lot of the members of that community today. And that can be in a positive way and a negative way, but I'm mostly talking about the negative way of the insult queer. I have known people in my life to use that as an insult, like you're so queer or that's so queer, and I don't understand why you would take an identity and use it as an insult, like that's so gay, or the R word, or the T word. Which brings me to the sort of like reclaiming portion of the word queer, because that has been a huge thing with the T word in the past like 5 or 10 years, is like it was used as a slur and it still is used as a slur. And then there are members of the trans community, and I've seen mostly trans women and trans women of color trying to reclaim the T word and just reclaim it for their own use and take the power away from it and things like that. And this has been done with other slurs, racial slurs, the N-word, and it's just like it's a part of society and it's a part of our culture, and it's something that happens from time to time. Is like a slur will be sort of reborn when members of the community start reclaiming it. So I think that's what sort of started happening with the word queer, is that it was negatively associated with people who society deemed as queer, and then those queer people kind of took it and reclaimed it, and now it's become like a positive identity. The point in time that I'm coming into it has been a positive, and when I started claiming that identity for myself, there was a positive feeling behind it, and I really felt that it encompassed the way that I was feeling inside. Now, I know that for other people, that is not the case. First of all, I know that people take offense to the term queer. Second of all, I know that a lot of people don't identify as queer, and that's fine. And third of all, there are older people who have sort of seen all of the stages of the word queer, and those are things that I'm not familiar with. I just feel comfortable using the word queer, and that is a privilege, I think, to have that perspective on it. Sort of on the flip side, I do not feel comfortable using the T word for myself because I see it as a slur, and I hear it as a slur, and I'm in the period of time where it's being used as a slur, and it's just being started to be reclaimed from people around me, and I still don't feel comfortable with it. But you know, just like the word queer, I'm coming at it in a later portion of the movement, if you will. So I feel good about identifying myself that way. For me, the word queer is just like an umbrella term, and that's why it's so great for me to use it, because I just feel like it encompasses my identity. I just feel like I don't want to put a label on my sexual orientation, and I don't feel comfortable putting myself in a box when I feel like I don't have to. And then that's where the word queer has came in. I've tried on a lot of different identities with my gender identity and my sexual orientation, and finally I'm in a place with my gender identity where I feel comfortable. I identify as a man first and a trans man second. And that's fine, that's it, that's where it ends for me. Other people might not feel that way about themselves, and that's great, but that's how I identify myself in gender-wise. And then my sexual orientation, it depends on where I am. There are some spaces where I don't feel safe expressing myself as queer. In queer spaces, I do feel that way. I feel safe enough to come out as queer, or just to identify as queer, not even come out. But in other spaces, like at work with all my cis hetero coworkers who like have little to no knowledge of the LGBT community, they would be very confused if I said that I was queer, which is fine. Their confusion is fine, but I don't feel like being put on the spot, and I don't want to explain it, so I just like to say that I don't identify my sexual orientation. And that's sort of what I feel queer means. It's another way to say I don't identify my sexual orientation. I like whoever you are, regardless of whoever you are. I just, if I like you, I like you. And that's it, and that's all it is for me. So yeah, I mean, I don't know much about like the social justice movement of like words like that and like etymology and stuff like that, but that's sort of my understanding on it. If I was incorrect in any of my perceptions of where we are in the movement to reclaim the word queer or anything like that, please let me know. I love to be educated. I love to have discussions and dialogues about stuff like this because it impacts me, and it's something that I'm interested in. Also, sorry about my hair. I just got out of the shower and it just likes to do whatever it wants, so here it is. Alright guys, that's all I have to say for today. Please check out my personal channel. I just made a video of 4 years post-op, and it's sort of like an emotional montage, which is something I haven't really done before. So that was really fun to do. You also see like physical comparisons, but the emotional montage was like really cool. It just goes over my emotional state, like pre-op and during the post-op reveal, and then years down the road. So that was a cool thing, so please go check that out. And also there's going to be a video up at the same time as this video goes up about facial hair dysphoria and what I'm doing about it, and I'm trying this new thing that supposedly makes your beard grow, and I will be documenting the shit out of that, so stay tuned for results. The links to my personal channel will be in the description below, and I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.